Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the council meeting for Green Tree for May 9th, 2022. So we will start off with we'll have a moment of silence for any special intention you may have, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Roll call, please, Kim.
Ms. Barron?
Here.
Mr. Lindsay?
Here.
Mr. Hansa?
Here.
Mr. Ray?
Here.
Mr. Romanovich?
Present.
Mr. Tarosi?
Present.
Mr. Tintori?
Present.
Mayor Shank?
Present. One time, any citizen that's wishing to address the council on any business or agenda items, please step up to the microphone and introduce.
I just have one thing. Thank you. I appreciate what you did for the guest pass. That's really great. But I just have one question. Why is a resident pass holder $20 for additional members, the same as non-resident?
Your name and address.
Yeah, you just have to give your name and address. You didn't do that,
Oh, I'm sorry, Diane Wichler, 193 Park
for
Edge.
the record. Plus, we're not in the debating thing at this point. You can ask your questions, but we're here to conduct business, so.
Diane, can you repeat your question? I didn't hear it.
I just wondered why non-residents and residents for additional family passes are $20 a piece. Here's just my question. Here's just, I want to just put this out to you.
That's better.
When a resident applies for a pass, they have to prove everybody that lives in that household. When a non-resident, there's no way to prove it. So why does a resident have to go through so much scrutiny, which a non-resident doesn't? That was just what I wondered.
Well, you just have to prove this for people in your house or whatever. I would think it's pretty basic. I don't think it's anything extreme. We've been doing this for a long time.
But for
That's my
selling
guess.
passes for 20 years, I could tell you, non-residents have come in here with 7 additional members.
Well, that's the
Because they
past.
don't have to prove what a resident does.
Thanks.
I don't know if you know that, but I'm just
No.
bringing it up, so.
Okay,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Anybody else?
Hi, my name is Leon Pontus. I live at 114 Leon Road. I just have a statement about the pool that I'd like to make. My husband, Ryan, and I moved to Green Tree in 2017. When we discussed where we wanted to create our home, Green Tree quickly emerged as our desired community. Green Tree is geographically ideal for us, but more than that, Green Tree offered a small town feel with access to big city living. This perfectly embodied what Ryan and I were looking for. In addition to this, it's crucial to us that we live in a community that is inclusive rather than exclusive. We want our community to be a place where children and families are welcome. As you all know, Green Tree residents and non-residents alike have access to many wonderful amenities. Many of these amenities, such as the parks, the nature trail, the farmers market, community events, and civic organizations, are inclusive and welcome both residents and non-residents. As it stands, the exception is the pool. I'm aware that in 2020, changes were made to the pool pass policies due to COVID-19. I'm proud that Green Tree prioritized safety during that time and believe that was the right decision. I'm also aware that these policies, which are no longer driven by health and safety concerns, are proposed to continue into summer 2022, and I want to make my strong disagreement with these policies known. Last summer, my mom, who is a non-resident and would live in the water if she could, drove 45 minutes to join me for my first Green Tree pool visit. I was looking forward to spending a vacation day together. We arrived with ID and enough cash for day passes per the policy that we found on the website and snacks at the concession stand. Upon arriving at the pool, we were notified that my mom was not allowed into the pool. This was confusing, a little embarrassing, and to be honest, it was frustrating too. In my case, the experience excluded residents and non-residents alike. Fortunately, I had the ability to head back home, grab some money from Leon Road, and buy a resident pass. My mom and I ultimately had a great day, aside from the sunburn that I got, but to be clear, I hold nobody here accountable for the sunburn. This isn't just about my personal experience, though. For some individuals, this experience would have been limiting. For example, extra money for gas, the cash to purchase a residence pass, the resiliency of getting the kids loaded in and out of the car again, embarrassment, a tight schedule, all of these kind of things would potentially drive somebody away from our community. I know this isn't the culture I want in our community, and I hope it's not the culture any of you want either. I want our community's culture to be driven by inclusivity and openness. You all have the power to make that culture a reality. I urge you to reconsider the exclusionary pool pass policies up for vote tonight in favor of a policy that is in line with the inclusive and welcoming culture I believe we should strive for. Thank you for the work that all of you do for our community and for considering my position.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming up. Anybody else like to say anything?
Jesse Robinson Evans, 24 Leon Road. I was here a few months ago, and I just wanted to reiterate that I noticed that there was a volunteer rank position open for the Planning Commission. I submitted that application. I'd be really interested in working with the other planning commissioners. I spent a lot of my spare time reading urban planning, economics textbooks, and the like. And I think Green Tree is uniquely situated. It already has a really good diversity of zones, heavy office, light industrial, heavy industrial. It's got a lot going on. But I think it could go further and help grow the community, grow the tax base, which you guys are probably primarily concerned with, but also provide the amenities people want. If I want to take my kid, hey, little Isaac, do you want to go get an ice cream cone? We're going to the BP gas station, getting a pint of Ben and Jerry's because there's no ice cream shops because there's, one tiny commercial district that we're all relegated to. So look forward to my application being reviewed and look forward to hearing back from you. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much. We'll be moving on to committee business. First up is the recreation programming and community welfare, Mr. Panza.
Yes, I would like to move that we pass resolution 1306, establishing fees for the Wilson Park Swimming Pool and Summer Recreation Program.
Second. If we have a motion and a second, any comments?
Yes. Last time I was quiet. I was just listening, taking things into consideration. But since the last meeting, I've called Rob. He manages the pool. I called Jen Matthew. I talked with the chief. I talked to several residents. I talked to several non-residents. I met with the rec committee when they were reconsidering everything. So I did do some background work here. There's good arguments on both sides. Some people actually wanted just Green Tree residents, no season passes, no resident bringing non-residents. And then other people want to open it. I think there's good arguments on both sides, but I think this is a good compromise. What is here for non-residents can buy a season pass. I know it's just $20 to address that comment, but it is $400 for a non-resident season pass compared to $150 for a resident pass. So it is a $250 difference. Hopefully not too many people get over on us, and hopefully we take a look at that. In regard to bringing somebody with you, if you want to bring your mother, you can bring your mother as long as if she's a non-resident, as long as you're there. So being the mayor, I take risk on my own sometimes, but being the mayor, I always have to err on the side of safety, enjoyment of residents, not overloading the lifeguards, not overloading the staff. Rob isn't there at all times. I mean, he can't be there at all times. And even when he's there, he has to be doing some paperwork. So I think that this was a good compromise, especially since non-residents can now come at the same price as residents. I think it is inclusive to a large extent. Not everything's open. For example, we don't have our schools open to anybody. Even when they were thinking of closing Aiken, we didn't talk about people that if they wanted to pay can come to Aiken. So there are, and we don't let other Even though our parks are open, we don't let other teams play here, is my understanding. So anyhow, like I said, I understand both sides, but I have to err on the side of safety, enjoyment of residents. And so that's, even though I don't vote, I don't think I'm going to vote, maybe, but anyhow, I vote on ties, but that's my position. Thank you.
Anyone else like to make comment?
Real quick question. So a non-resident can show up to the pool as long as they're with a resident.
Correct.
I of course have comments. I think everyone at this point should expect that from me. I want to let our audience know I'm wearing a mask today, not because I have COVID. I have laryngitis and I don't want anyone to think I have no other symptoms. I've taken many COVID tests. I don't have COVID. I just don't want people to think I'm going to get them sick. So I have a few things that I'm reading through. I am glad to see that we have thought about cost a lot in this plan. But I have some questions. In addition to what Ms. Mutchler said earlier, I am curious about the family plan pass. So we added some language this year about pre-K are free and not included in the family total. So that's different than years past by saying that in that description. And so this, I broke down some scenarios with this, including my own family, for example. So families often have older children and younger children in the same households. So even my own family, if I can't buy a family pass because my preschooler is free, would have to buy 2 adult passes for $130 total, and then 1 student pass, making it $185. It's cheaper for us to buy the family pass, even though my child is free. We've always done that. Now, I also have to buy a caregiver pass, which that's the same as last year, the $100. I think that is fair. I'm more than happy to pay that so my mom can come and take my children to the school. But I am curious because if you have 2 children if you have 2 adults at home and you have a child who is free under that preschool age, and we don't define that here of what preschool means, and we probably should. There's no option for that family to get a caregiver pass unless they're buying a family pass. But that actually is a lot more expensive for that family who only has 1 child. So where is the option for allowing caregiver passes for families who are not 2 adults, 2 children? So, you know, and then when you factor in, I have some other scenarios too of, what did I say here? Sorry. They would really only benefit by buying passes for themselves at a cost of $130 if you just have 2 parents and a child who does not fit that, you know, is older than preschool. But if they had to add all of those passes and buy the family pass, that's $250. So the latest census data for Green Tree actually shows that 75% of households in our community have 2 parents, have both parents in the workforce. So that's a large percentage of our population that cannot come to the pool during the workday, that it's not an option for them. And we don't have anything here. A family of 4 has to go to the pool 7 times each. That's with all 4 of those members being able, of the age that they would have to buy a pass. That's if all 4 of those family members are above preschool to get that value. It's a great value. I think it's a wonderful value to get a pool pass. I am concerned, like Ms. Mutchler said, that, you know, we've come together, we've been talking about this for 2 months, and multiple times I've heard from my constituents here that non-residents should pay more than residents, but yet we are adding that same price on to additional family members, which is certainly no discount for our residents. And I mean, you do all know my concern about not being an inclusive pool at all. And I again am very disappointed. I feel like I have made many points. I have given many suggestions to really address the concerns that I've heard from all of my councilmen up here and our community members. And yet we've had multiple people express concern about inclusivity and nothing has been addressed by that. As I read this right now, there is nothing stopping any borough resident from posting on Nextdoor or Facebook, or even standing in the parking lot saying, hey, friends, you want to be my neighbor and come on into the pool today, which is great. But that is exactly the type of scenario that can bring a flash party, as was mentioned in our meeting last week, for keeping non-residents away for daily entry. So really, why can't we be, as another constituent called it, be the kind kid and to do more? I have said what I've needed to say about this. I have been more than willing to give ideas. I never present a problem without providing a solution. And I am, again, continually disappointed. Thank you.
Shannon, I will address the one point you brought up. Makes sense. We have not allowed for a single adult to have a caregiver.
Yes, we have.
Have we? It says
Caregiver must be accompanied by a resident pass holder. So you can be an adult with a pass, $65, and then buy.
One per family pass is what it says.
Yeah, it says
Well, then
one
we can
caregiver.
change.
Yeah, we need to
the
change that. We
We can
need to
change
change that.
Well, I think what we need to do then is, I don't think we can change it once
Sure
the
we can.
motion's been made. I think you have to pull the motion back and make the change, because we had a
Okay.
motion and a second for this
Thank you.
agenda. I'm just trying to follow procedures.
Then we might as well get to the only other final issue, which I know you're really enjoying this.
Take out the word family.
The one other final issue is on the daily pass cash emissions for non-residents. It says non-residents must be accompanied by a Green Tree resident. Should it also say or a pass holder? Where if someone spends the 400, that's a non-resident and has a pass, if they want to bring their relative and they have a pass and they're not a resident, should they not be allowed in for the day? And that's the only
You stole
other,
my point.
what's that?
I said you stole a point I was gonna raise.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the only other thing we have. So should we make that change also?
Hey,
Oh, if you can, once again, I would ask you to
Okay.
rescind your,
Could I
Vote on
withdraw
this.
my motion? Oh, do I have to?
Well, I guess they can re-motion, we can have,
Exactly.
we can have more discussion at that point.
yes. So if you would like to, otherwise we got to vote on this.
Okay, like, can I withdraw my motion?
I withdraw the second.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we are
Okay, so now
clear.
I would like to make a motion. Wait, if I make,
Is there
no,
any
we
discussion?
gotta make the changes.
Yes,
It's part of your motion.
that would be part. You would add in the changes you would
Okay,
like.
but before
the
you
new
said we
motion.
couldn't discuss it until there was a motion and a second. But
I think
You're
you
gonna
can
make
just,
the motion and add the language at the end of the motion.
if we want to, we don't know if we want to. Do we want to?
If we do, it's gonna be second and then we'll vote on it.
Okay,
Well, I still have some additional discussion that still hasn't been.
we can,
addressed.
okay.
Yes,
That's what I was
You want-
yes, we can do that.
Okay, then, see, then according to this, then I have to make a motion that we
You don't have
pass.
to make a motion at all.
To
Well,
discuss.
No, we can discuss it anytime, but you already made a motion to approve with a
Okay.
second, so we had to address that. So
Okay.
by you withdrawing it, we are free now. That is not up, so we can have discussion, and then if you would like to
Make a
amend
new motion. Okay.
this resolution, you may.
Okay,
So we're in discussion.
we're in
again.
discussion phase.
Before you do that, I just have a question to your committee.
Yes.
You guys had mentioned last month, what are the communities that don't allow any non-residents?
We're one of the more inclusive communities locally.
Correct.
Uh,
Which ones don't allow any?
Scott Township, you have to be a member, you have to be a resident of Chartiers Valley School District, South Fayette, or Upper St. Clair to buy a pass. Plus you have, if you buy a daily pass, you have to be accompanied by a resident for $12. Robinson, you have to be a member only, so it's only Robinson
Only
Township
Robertson
residents.
Township.
Crafton, you have to be a resident of Crafton, Ingram, Thornburg, I guess Carlinton School District. They do allow a resident rate or non-resident rate of $15 per non-resident. Dormont is totally inclusive where they allow anybody. Their pool is 8 times bigger than ours. Mount Lebanon allows anybody, their pool is 3 times bigger than ours. They're also not surrounded by communities that don't have pools. So we are inclusive. We're not excluding anyone. Any non-resident can buy a pass. Green Tree is the kind kid. I'm dressed like this because I'm coaching baseball right now. On our baseball team, we have 4 non-residents that do not live in the borough. Our library programs encourage non-resident participation. Our summer rec program allows non-residents. Our community events allow non-residents. We are inclusive. We're making this policy for the safety and the comfort of our residents to attend the pool.
I didn't plan on queuing you up there. I actually asked a question, but thank you for answering. And thanks for explaining all that. That's all I have.
So Ron, what was the language you wanted to add at the end of
Okay.
non-resident
We,
pass holders?
to non-residents must be accompanied by a Green Tree resident or a pass holder. So realistically, then non-residents can still get in with non-residents without even having a resident in Green Tree to get in. They just have to come in with a pass holder.
A non-resident pass holder.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's even more. I mean, that's like even more, you know,
Inclusive.
yes,
So what are we changing?
we're adding, non-residents must be accompanied by
The
a
whole thing you're
Green
adding?
Tree resident.
What are
I'm
you
sorry.
talking about, Rob?
I'm sorry, we're adding or a
We
pass.
start with residents. So resident season passes, caregiver pass. We're removing the word family. So limit 1 caregiver pass per pass. So
Per
that you
pass.
can be an adult pass holder, senior pass holder, family pass holder, and you can buy the caregiver pass, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Non-resident, what are you talking about?
We
On the
are
back.
on the back, we are going to add after it says Green Tree resident or pass holder.
Yeah, well, I think we already got Green Tree resident.
Why
I
not
think-
just say a pass holder?
Yeah,
I
just
think-
scratch that with a pass holder.
Yeah.
Well, what if they,
I think-
no, because
No,
what if
because-
someone,
Yeah, no, because you could still, if you just wanted to go in for a day with a Green Tree resident, you could.
I think, hold up, I mean, I think keep
Yeah,
the
that's-
keep the words that are there and add or non-resident season pass holder.
Correct.
Yes,
So it's a
Right.
Green Tree resident adding or non-resident season pass holder. I think
Yes.
That's it, right?
Yes.
yes,
And as Ms. Barron just pointed out, for the caregiver pass, we need to eliminate the word family under the non-resident rate. So it's the same, it's
Correct.
copying the
Yes.
resident language.
okay. So now with those changes,
Kim, if
I'm,
you,
I'm not sure I agree with
Clear
the
on that.
non-resident. So and you're saying a non-resident pass holder can bring in a non-resident guest?
if someone buys a family pass and one certain day, their cousin from Boston comes in,
Okay,
we're gonna, because they made the commitment to spend the
okay.
money, we're gonna let them
I'm on
come
board.
in for the day.
I agree.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other
Well,
thing?
since you're restricting the non-resident pass to 18 and up, I would think that any non-resident pass holder should be able to bring in a non-resident. Not just a family pass holder, non-resident. not
Oh,
just
yeah,
a
yeah,
non-resident.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you're saying,
yeah.
so
yeah.
that would be your change. Is that what you're saying then?
Yeah.
Any non-resident pass.
Yeah,
holder can
we're
bring
not
in.
gonna say non-resident family pass holder.
Alright.
We're just gonna say non-resident pass holder.
All right, I understand.
Okay.
Okay, well, I have some
agree.
other
Season
questions.
pass holder.
please, if you have something. to say.
Again, last time we were here, I had asked, and I'll ask again, is there any objective basis that you have for not allowing non-resident admissions without a pass holder or without a Green Tree resident?
Yes, we had 0 complaints last year from residents.
What's the objective basis for excluding non-residents without pass holders or
We had 0
Green Tree
complaints of on the policy that we had last year. So
that's not objective. people will complain when they're going to complain. People who have nothing to complain about don't complain, but they may disagree with the policy.
I also did.
So- Pardon me?
I also did make a complaint just now about.
Well, about not having residents in. I'd like to know the objective basis. Did the committee interview Rob?
Yes.
Yes.
No, the mayor did.
Did the committee interview Rob? The committee's
the-
making the decision,
the,
they're offering the recommendation. Did the committee interview the pool manager?
The
the
pool
assistant
manager
pool manager,
was
or the
given,
head guard?
the pool manager was given everything that we came up with, and he approved it, had no
But-
issue.
Did
The pool ma-
anyone
the mayor- the
specifically
mayor-
interview the manager, the assistant manager, or head guard
Yes.
about an objective basis, which has been presented as safety,
Yes.
about
Yeah.
excluding non-residents?
Yes, the mayor interviewed the pool.
The committee,
he-
the mayor's
and
not on
the
the
ma- the
committee, and
mayor-
he doesn't
the
vote,
mayor-
he didn't make the
The
recommendation.
mayor participated in our committee meeting, and he brought the data with him to the meeting. I trust the mayor that.
And,
what he
and,
did
So-
was
and,
true.
and that was, wait,
Mr.
wait,
Ray
wait,
and
wait,
Mr. Romanovich did not interview any of those people.
well, wait, that
Was that the answer?
that interview occurred in 2019, pre-COVID, which, just for clarification, these changes were made prior to COVID.
That's not true, and I cleared that up last week. I'll be happy to get the information out.
David, I believe we.
The price was there, but the non-resident, coming as a non-resident accompanied by a resident was not there.
I just had two changes.
Any non-resident
Oh,
in 2019.
on the back, it would just add, just add.
Yes, at a higher rate, yes.
Or passable.
I have it right here.
Okay, the other
What's the
change,
other one?
oh, it is in the front. It should, where it says caregiver family pass. It should say pass holder, not family pass, because if you're a single per parent
For season pass.
per season pass, yeah.
So we have no objective data on whether this policy is even necessary.
I don't know about objective data, but sometimes you have to go with life experiences and common sense. And my life experiences and my common sense tell me a couple things. Less people in the pool overall make it easier for the lifeguards. The lifeguards have to, they have 16, 17-year-old, I don't know if there can be 15. They have a big responsibility for safety. So less people makes it easier for them to patrol. Another thing is from having worked in a state juvenile institution, from having a lot of nieces and nephews, groups of boys, I believe, are the most difficult to control. If you have groups of boys that are not from the community, then you don't have community members observing them. There's not as much pressure on such boys to behave themselves. When you have residents that know the teenagers, I believe there's more incentive for them to behave. Also, more room in the pool is just in general better for more enjoyable. So whether there's any objective, those might not be objective, but that's from my life experience. And I don't want to bring anybody else in particular, but I believe from talking with people that there'd be more safety issues if we open it up to more people.
I just want to, I'm sorry, Jim. There's a lot to unpack, Mayor, with your statement. I can certainly talk about my life experience, which is currently have over, at this point, over 20 years of experience working with children. I currently manage the largest children's department of a library in all of Western Pennsylvania. I currently sit on many different committees that talk about youth in our county, in our city. And it is not really fair to say that boys behave a different way than girls, nor is it fair to say that if it's our own residents, that they'll behave better. Children are children, children make mistakes, teenagers make mistakes. It does not matter what gender they are or where they live. And I just really need to say that. Thank you.
Is there attendance data on the pool?
Excuse me, sir. You can't just ask questions.
Oh, sorry.
And, that kind of leads into my point is, well, of course, the fewer people in the pool, the more comfortable people are going to be. But numbers can be controlled by head count. The pool has a capacity. And if it's necessary, a solution could be to limit the people who come into pool when you hit a certain percentage, as Ms. Barron previously suggested, possibly 80% capacity, then you limit it to residents and pass holders only.
Jim,
That
if I
can be
can,
done.
if I can
You
interject
can
there.
also, I grew up in Green Tree.
Mhm.
There's just as many bad kids in Green Tree as there are anywhere else, Mayor. Trust me. Okay? And I'll leave it at that.
All right, Jim, let me ask-
The other thing is, there's really been nothing presented objective to exclude residents on an ad hoc basis like this. I mean, it's just not a safety issue because there's no objective data on any problems with the pool. It's not a capacity issue because there's no objective data on capacity. So, again, I don't think it's the right thing to do. Other communities are unrestricted on this. Brentwood, no restriction on non-resident daily admissions. Grafton, no restriction.
They restrict their
Dormont,
pass
no
holders. They
restriction.
don't sell.
Well, this
season
is on
passes.
daily admissions for
They don't-
non-residents, and that's what we're doing here. So Mount Lebanon, no restriction on daily admissions for anyone, and in particular, non-residents. So, why are we doing this? What's our objective reason for doing this? And nobody's been able to answer that.
Scott
Last
Township is
time
more
or this
restrictive.
time.
Scott Township is more restrictive. Robinson is more restrictive. Crafton is more restrictive. Dormont is not, but they're 8 times the size of our pool.
That's
Mount
not the
Lebanon
data
is
that
not.
we've been providing with. Dave.
Sure it is.
Crafton, no restriction on
Listen.
non-resident daily admission.
They-
Dormont, no restriction. on-
Crafton, you cannot go, a Green Tree resident cannot go to Crafton, cannot go to Scott and buy an annual pass.
We're not
cannot
talking
do it.
about buying passes. We're talking
Are
about
they,
daily
are they the
admission.
kind?
We're talking about being a non-resident and coming in and saying,
We're-
hey, I
we're
want to go to your
inclusive.
pool.
We're taking it to the next level. We're saying if you're a non-resident, you can come to Green Tree and buy an annual pass. We'll accept you the entire season, not just one day.
Yeah, and it
We
and
have
it comes at
reduced
a
our
very high
rate.
price.
We have reduced our rate to $6. That is the lowest non-resident rate in the region.
And it's restricted.
But we don't restrict for the annual pass, Jim. Well, there's a compromise.
But you're charging a premium for that pass.
Jim, if I can interject, your information is incorrect in regards to Scott Pool. The pool is
Why did I
not
mention
open.
Scott Township?
I believe you did.
No, I
He did
said,
not.
I said Brentwood, Crafton, Dormont, Mount Lebanon.
Okay.
Grafton restricts annual passes.
Well, they're not restricting non-residents from coming in on a daily basis.
They don't, but they also charge $15.
So why are we doing it? What's the objective basis for it?
I don't know what the objective basis is, but I will tell you that the vast majority of the people in this community could care less about non-residents.
And we also have,
I'm also not elected by a non-resident. I will vote by the will of the people. If we put this on a referendum, on a ballot, it would get destroyed. So I appreciate everybody's opinion, but this isn't my opinion. My opinion is irrelevant. The will of the people could care less if non-residents ever get in. The committee has provided multiple ways for them to participate. We're not being exclusive, we're being inclusive. If it's not as inclusive as some of you would like, that's fine. But I think the committee has gone pretty far in trying to accommodate and reach a middle ground. So I've spoken to no one that jumps up and down and said we have to let non-residents in at all. I've got completely opposite. So the few people that have given,
Here tonight,
I'm sorry,
I think the voices and the citizens we've heard from tonight.
I could
Yeah.
pack the room.
I could bring 100 up here.
Right.
Is that what you want? I mean, that's not what we need to do. So anyway, I'm gonna lean towards what the vast majority of the residents community would want us to do. And I think that the Recreation Committee has gone well above and beyond, excuse me, and worked very hard on this. And I appreciate their efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything else to say? We do not have any kind of resolution before us.
I would
But
like to
we
raise just
certainly-
one more issue
Sure.
in the pricing schedule for non-resident seniors. Whereas before 62 and older were free, whether they were residents or non-residents, we're now charging $200 for anyone 18 and over, and for a non-resident pass. So I think to assist the senior non-residents and continue that income stream, because we are going to be faced with a very large bill to either renovate or replace our current pool. And I think that steps we take objectively to reduce that revenue stream on a pool that already needs a vast amount of repairs and doesn't bring in a ton of money to begin with. I think we should try to keep that revenue stream as high as we can, and at least cut the non-resident seniors a break instead of giving them a price of $200, which could be and most likely will be exclusionary for them.
Anybody else have any comments?
So do we have a motion on the table?
No, we
not
do
yet.
not. That is why we had a discussion.
Yes,
Make a motion.
okay, at this time, I would like,
Considering his senior thing.
I think that's what he needs to do, is make a motion to determine.
Why do you want to know? Because I'm trying to keep track so Kim's up.
Yeah, well, that's what,
Jim.
before we do anything, we have to definitely make sure Kim gets this right. And for clarification, everybody understands what we got here, so
Jim,
maybe you have a comment.
yeah, I didn't understand, for non-resident senior citizen pass, are you suggesting free or are you suggesting less than $200?
I would suggest less than $200. I would suggest that maybe we make that $100.
So senior citizen pass, non-resident 62 and over 100. Is that your suggestion?
Yes.
It's wide open the floor for a resolution or, so if you want to carefully,
I
Put one together?
think that's a very legitimate request also.
I believe it is fair.
Yes, absolutely. Funny, after going over this for hours and hours, well, how we didn't put that in.
There's a lot going on here, guys.
I'm sorry, Jim.
yeah, there's a lot of things happening.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
I'm
issues.
very surprised that was not in there, unless
Well, this-
people confused it with residents, like all 62 and over would be free, but, okay, so does everyone have the changes?
I do.
Okay,
But I think you better clarify that.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
okay,
In your motion, make sure you,
okay. I would like to make a motion that we pass resolution 1306 with the current changes. Under
the following change.
the following changes. I think I got it. The caregiver pass is one caregiver pass per season pass. So change family to season pass in the caregiver pass. Add 62 and over non-resident senior pass, $100. Under daily pass cash admission.
Wait, hold on, Rob. Back
Okay.
up.
Yeah, let's,
I got it.
Caregiver pass for non-resident. Limit one caregiver pass per season pass.
Per season pass.
Yeah, that's what he said.
He did it for resident. I don't know if he
Oh,
did it
for both.
non-resident.
I'm sorry,
Oh.
for both.
Correct.
Okay,
Both being resident and non-resident.
Correct.
yes. And then the other change would be the daily pass, cash admission, add
Or
or
non-resident.
non-resident season pass holder.
Jim, how you doing on that? You got it, huh? So does that complete the information on your resolution?
Yes, I just need a second from someone.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any final comments? Okay, we need a roll call vote.
Kansas,
Yes,
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Romanovich,
Yes.
Mr. Tarosi,
No.
Ms. Barron,
No,
Mr. Lindsay,
Yes.
Mr. Tentori.
Yes. Is there any, there's no abstains, right? Okay, that motion passes.
well then, boy, I would like to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.